Flight boss, bitch, you know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about the full moon and the significance that it have. Now, the full moon holds a lot of significance. It holds a lot of importance. You know what I'm saying? You ever watch the Karate Kid movie when it be like wax on, wax off? These Chin Kwan Konnichiwa people, they kind of know more about the moon than a lot of people in this hemisphere of the earth. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about the moon, I want you to remember wax on, because when it's waxing, that's when the moon is getting filled, and when it's waning or waning, that's when the moon is shedding off. Now, the moon likes to eat. This is why the moons change so fast, because like who you are is your moon. Your moon is your reactions. How you react, your emotional stance on things. So your moon is who you are. So your three important is the sun, your rising, and the moon. That is the three important. They all hold significant weight. But if we had to choose between which more important out of those three, if we had to choose, it's going to be the moon. Because ultimately, you is you. So your sun is how you see things, your actions, and the way you act, and how you go about things. That's your sun. Your personality, personal issues, personal people, places and things and circumstances, that's your personality. That's your rising. How you feel, how you get emotionally content, what makes you emotionally comfortable, and what makes you emotionally uncomfortable. That's your moon. So when we want to talk about those three, we have no choice but to say the moon is actually who you are. The sun is actually what you see yourself doing. Your rising is how you actually do these things. It's how you show yourself. It's like the mask. It's like your spirit. It's the energy that you carry. So when they say mask, I don't want people to think that a mask is something that you have to fake to do or something that you try. No, it's astrologically your mask. When I come around, the first energy people get off me is Leo energy. You see what I'm saying? Because my rising is Leo, right? But when they start to see my actions and start to see me doing things and shit like that, right? What they start to see my sun, Aries, right? They start to see Aries. But when I start to tell a person how I genuinely feel about something, shit that I ain't comfortable with, I'll see y'all later, or shit that I am comfortable with, that I like doing, that's genuine to me, that's when a person know my moon sign. And that's Sag. You see what I'm saying? So I know I'm a bad example because I might could throw people off. People may not know which one because I'm triple fire. Aries, Sun, Sag, Moon, and Leo rising. But for the sake, if you want to know how to decipher it in your own chart, that's how you decipher it. Who you are, what makes you feel, what makes you comfortably cool is you. That's who you are. That's the moon. Your actions and how you see yourself doing things, that's the sun. You know what I'm saying? So when you don't see yourself doing things in the way how you see yourself doing it or how you expect others to see it, you know what I'm saying, you could get uncomfortable with your moon. But see, a lot of times with the sun is in the illusion. So a lot of times what you think other people expect from you is not even how other people see things. Because other people see things in their sign. You know what I'm saying? So if you running around and you are Aries and you like, man, I see myself as being number one and caring about myself, and then you go in interactions with a Libra, right? And then you be like, and then you do something that's highly relatable. You start to feel vulnerable, like, damn, this person might look at it like I ain't did something for myself or something like that. When no, you're wrong, because in the Libra's outlook, that's how they see the world. You see what I'm saying? They see the world as being more compatible, being more relatable, not using all your actions for your own, and actually applying your actions with someone else. You see what I'm saying? Because Saturn is exalted here and Venus is ruled by here. So that's another story. But when we want to talk about the moon, now the moon, now we know the moon. Everybody here on Earth needs to get emotionally fed. Basically, if your emotional stance on things isn't fed, it can lead into chaotic moments. For an example, if you're in a situation too long that makes you uncomfortable, you're going to do something to cause some type of chaotic type of commotion or something like that, or some type of dramatic moment or something like that in order for you to get out of that comfortable situation. That's like somebody being locked in jail too long. They're going to do a bunch of crazy shit because they've been in an uncomfortable situation for so long. Someone who's been in a messed up relationship for a long time. They're going to start cheating and start doing crazy stuff in order to get out of a relationship because the relationship was making them uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? So the way people go about their comfortability and who they are is their moon. So if you are in a relationship, it's very important to know where a person's moon and Venus at. Because if you don't, it might be things that you're doing that may be ticking this person off, but they may not be showing it on the surface, or may not be expressing it to you, because there's nothing that's directly afflicting their planets that show, like the sun, Mars, Jupiter. You know what I'm saying? It might have hit a planet that don't show shit. You know what I'm saying? Like Venus, moon. You know what I'm saying? And Saturn and things of that nature. So the Venus has an inside love, but it likes to express it through external things. So it may take a little time for you to actually see it. And if this person don't love you, it's going to take you a little bit of time before you see that they don't love you. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's not no direct angles actually afflicting the planets that you can see, which is like the sun, Jupiter, Mars. You know, if something afflict those, then they will let you know that they're not in love anymore. But that's a different story. So everybody here is trying to get emotionally fed. So as the being you're in right now, that's what the moon is actually doing. So when the moon is waxing, the moon is eating up all the knowledge of all the signs. You see what I'm saying? And then when it's time to shed and release, that's when the moon is waning. Now, here's just what actually happens, and how does it affect the humans and all the species and beings on Earth. Now, when the moon is waxing, which AKA means it's on its way to getting full. So right now it's in all the grocery stores, it's in all the restaurants, and it's doing all this kind of shit. Right? 1 second. All right, look, it's doing all this kind of shit, right? So look, when the moon is gathering all this information, eating all this food bad, it might have ate some bad food. The moon in opposition in the squares before it got full. It might have ate some food that it really likes, but it didn't get to enjoy all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's like the gifts, the trines that the moon went through from where the moon was originally at, and things of that nature, when it actually before it became a full moon. Now, as it's eating all this knowledge, you as a human is doing the same thing. So it's very careful for you to keep up with moon cycles, because if you have an emotional stance on things and like a build-up, like you just start to have a real large build-up on emotional ramifications and situation and people, places, and things that affect your soul and affect your vibration and affect the way you feel and put you in certain vibrations and things of that nature. Now, if you have this before the full moon, then you're eating just like the moon is eating, as you experience the experience that the moon and the illusion and the sun is giving you. So off the bat, you're carrying this with you, whether you forgot about these emotions and feelings or not. Now, when the moon gets full, right? The moon is emotionally satisfied, but AKA it's emotionally fulfilled. So when something is emotionally fulfilled, a lot of times it's getting ready to shed or release dead weight or release old emotional stance on things. So what happens, what you do when you're tired or something like that, and you go eat or something like that? Well, a lot of foods drain you in this realm of reality, but food is supposed to give you energy. It's supposed to be live and electric. So you can even eat meat that makes you live and electric if it's more geared towards your spirit. But if you're eating a lot of stuff and it wears you down, that's stuff that you're not supposed to be eating. Because 9 times out of 10, it's taking a toll on your body and making your body worse at digesting, because it's taking longer and longer to digest certain things. But for the most part, when we want to talk about the moon being emotionally full, now the emotional stance on things has heightened and is at its maximum level. So what happens here is there's more of the yin realm on the earth than the yang realm. So a lot of things may happen that don't make sense, because a lot of the energy that's going on the earth is more yin realm based. So when the emotions is fulfilled and the emotional stance is full on things, then everybody gonna need emotional fulfillment once the moon get filled. So anything that been harboring over you, but you haven't found the time to deal with or to express or things like that, when the full moon come out, circumstances is going to manifest and create itself in order for you to get these out. So say you might have hated somebody when the moon first started waxing, right? But you don't even give it no thought or expression after that. When the moon becomes full, that manifestation is going to come back through another person, place, or thing, or maybe that exact person, right? And something's going to happen that reassure you of why you should act out in this way towards that person, place, or thing. So be very careful when the moon is is getting fulfilled. Because when the moon is a full moon, humans on Earth need emotional fulfillment. So any type of emotional stagnance that couldn't deal with or whatever like that, when the full moon come, it makes you do it. It makes you activate it. So if you in a real deep dark frequency, then you're going to activate a real dark deep frequency when the moon goes in the full. That's why you're supposed to receive information, positive information. Then when the moon waning, that's when you're supposed to let go all the emotional stances that you had that was harboring over you, all the negative ones. That's the time to let them go and harbor over them. Don't try to think and have your emotional stance on them while the moon is getting full. Now, when the moon is getting full, this is the time for planting seeds. Even if you plant flowers and things of that nature, this is a time for starting things, starting rituals, starting goals, starting paths, starting tasks, starting things that you want to put on schedule. And then when you work towards it, by the time the moon gets full, you're going to have emotional fulfillment from whatever seed that you planted. You're going to receive the fruits and labors from it. Then when the moon wands, you get to enjoy this and let go of all the stress and the circumstances that you had and the situations that you had to deal with from people, places, and things on your way of trying to stay on top, on pace, trying to stay on task until the moon gets full. You see what I'm saying? Like, if the whole world would go accordingly to how nature is going, there will be no problems. You know what I'm saying? But people fail to realize that because they have their own inner world that they want to express in the external world, regardless of how nature is and regardless to your spirit. People are just seeing these Elohim members and seeing these certain guys and wanting to see something that they like. They may see a generic strawberry, a generic fruit, aka engineered nature. Basically, instead of pyramids, we got buildings. Basically, instead of fruit, we got geofruits. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having watermelons that grow naturally, now we got seedless watermelons. You see what I'm saying? So that's almost in this mechanism. You know what I'm saying? You have your own spiritual nature and things that you look at, but it don't look as good as whatever this being created, because this being may have created it with the same intentions of where your initial spirit came from, but added shit with it. So now it's like water with sugar and Kool-Aid in it. So what I'm saying? So now you rather drink Kool-Aid than drink straight water. And I'm not talking about actual Kool-Aid and water. I'm talking about metaphysically, that's how things play out. You see what I'm saying? So when the moon is waxing, the moon is getting full, that's when you're supposed to start preparing what you want to get full about. Whether you want to go actually plant some plants or plant some seeds in your life. Put in some applications, put in some whatever you need to do that's aware to planting seeds. You know what I'm saying? Either start a relationship or whatever like that. Now when the moon gets full, you're gonna see the emotional fulfillment out of that. Whether it's something that you emotionally need to connect to or something you don't need to emotionally connect to. Now I will tell you this also, with that. Like when the moon is getting full, if you was negative that whole time before when the moon was waxing and all that shit, then you're gonna say you wanted to kill somebody. Say somebody did something to you, right? And this is harbored on you the whole time while the moon was waxing. As soon as the moon get ready to go in the full moon, or the moon is in the full moon, these thoughts in your yin realm and your soul is gonna affect you way more, and you're gonna want to experience that other than just see the frequency and the energy of it. Like if it was just in the yang and you didn't pay no attention to it, you're gonna want to experience that line of events. So if you're a strong enough person, you want, but a lot of times people fall short to the yin realm that's going on in the yang realm. So a lot of times that emotional feeling and stance on things, a person wants to experience that. So when the full moon come, a person is actually going to want to get emotionally fulfilled with actually killing you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be careful. Keep your mind out of that shit. When the moon is waxing, I know we fall short every day, but when the mind is waxing, try to keep your mind as positive as possible on your goals, your attribute. Only time you need to become negative if someone is trying to attack your inner world. Somebody trying to steer you off your shit. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big key in this world, to never oppose your own self onto others. So anytime somebody opposes themselves onto you, you will always win. This is how you win arguments. This is how you win fights. This is how you win situations. Everything. You know, and what I mean by that is when you oppose somebody with something, that means oppose somebody with an idea, a thought, or something that they may need to do, or something like that. When a person is doing something, if they didn't ask you for your advice or ask you for your 2 cents, then you let them do it the way that they're doing it. Because their spirit might be leading them in a way that they might be doing it right. And it might be wrong to your spirit, but your spirit is going to be able to witness that spirit flourish. You see what I'm saying? So never oppose your, even when people are opposing your spirit or things of that nature with their theologies and things of that nature. Never oppose yourself onto others, and just decipher what's coming towards you. Because therefore, the only people gonna feel bad is the people who was attacking you. Because nor did you attack them back, but you had the sufficient defense mechanisms in order to fight whatever spirit was attacking you. And when that spirit leave that person, whether that person was dealing with ego or whatever like that, once it leave that person is gonna sit back and realize, like, damn, I'm sitting there trying to tell this person what to do, this, that, and the third, and I don't even know what the fuck to do with my own self. Actually, this person is doing more than what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times people disgruntles and things of that nature towards you, a lot of times is hatred towards if your spirit is higher inclined than theirs. So a lot of times people are so left brain or so much into this world and too much in earth, they have to tie that to an external person, place, or thing in order to represent what they're talking about. But when they're talking to a person who actually then deciphered all that shit already and actually know where this person come from, you will be able to tell this person why they even feel the way they feel to even come at you in the first place, whether it's good advice or not. See what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. But that wasn't even about... See, I always dive into other concepts, but yeah, this is the motherfucking Yan video, Flight Boss bitch, and this is how the motherfucking full moon resonates with the human activities on motherfucking earth. Goddamn air.